What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I'm your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 78. Let's give it a round of applause. Let's give it a round of applause. Yep. Episode 78 now. Moving on up. You know we can never miss. It's always Monday through Friday. We're going to be either starting between 6 and 7. It's always going to be between 6 and 7. But you will know a few hours before exactly the right time. Hope everybody's having a beautiful Wednesday, December 3rd at 2025. It's the hump day, the middle of the week, y'all. Only a little bit more time left before we get to the weekend. If you're still working on the weekend, I'm sorry for you. But hey, go make that money. Well, you already know what it is. It's AC Reviews the World. I am AC the Engineer. Remember, if you ever disagree with anything I say, please, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to be talking about today, y'all, is I don't know if y'all have seen it, but y'all probably have. We got the Texas A&M student who was found dead. A young lady. So let's get over into that. We got a few videos to look at so we can understand what's happening. Remember, we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Let's get into it.
The mother of a Texas college student is searching for answers after her daughter was found dead near campus on Saturday. Nate Foy has the latest. Hi, Nate.
Hey, Dana, good morning. So the mother of 19-year-old Texas A&M student Brianna Aguilera says police told her inconsistent information about her daughter's death. She thinks there's more to the story. Stephanie Rodriguez told a local TV station that she called police on Friday when Aguilera didn't answer her phone after attending the Texas A&M football game at the University of Texas in Austin. Police reportedly told her she had to wait 24 hours to file a missing persons report. A Good Samaritan then found her daughter dead outside a campus apartment complex. That happened at 1 a.m. Saturday morning. The mom says police didn't tell her until 4 p.m. later that day. She says investigators told her that Aguilera died by suicide, falling 17 stories to her death. But her mother claims text messages show a fight between Aguilera and another girl in the hours leading up to her death. The family put out a statement that reads in part, quote, Brianna attended the UT versus Texas A&M tailgate with friends at Austin. The details surrounding what happened next remain unclear, and her mother is still awaiting answers. Now, the mother claims Aguilera wasn't suicidal and looked forward to becoming a lawyer after graduation. Adding, quote, I've experienced every parent's worst fear, but I'm comforted by the knowledge that my Bree touched so many hearts. The medical examiner hasn't released the cause of her death quite yet, but right now Austin police confirm they are not investigating this as a homicide. They tell Fox there are no indications of suspicious activity, but the investigation remains ongoing. We'll send it back to you, Dana.
Now, you know a mother will always, at least if they believe they know their son or daughter, they will never suspect suicide. Now, we don't know because the medical examiner hasn't ruled yet, but like they said, the police are saying they're not even investigating because they're considering this a suicide. Well, we don't know what happened. Let's get over, but there are some crazy details. Let's get over into this next video. Well, let's finish up this video and then we'll get over into the next one.
All right, Nate, that's terrible news. Thank you.
You got it.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagna.
Nothing left. Let's get over into the next one.
Brianna Aguilera, a student at Texas A&M, was found dead hours after a football tailgate in Austin, Texas. And here is what we know. Brianna attended a tailgate on Friday, which was November 28th, reportedly getting kicked out after becoming too intoxicated, and then later returned to a friend's apartment. Brianna's mother says she stopped responding to her phone around 6 p.m. that night. Hours later, she was found outside of the apartment complex unresponsive, and police are not investigating this as a homicide, telling her mother that she either fell 17 stories or jumped to her death from that apartment building. Brianna's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, joins us now. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh, let's back that up a tad bit. Let's look at that timeline one more time. So we got early afternoon. She attended the tailgate, intoxicated, so very intoxicated. She had to be kicked out, so very wasted. Returns to the friend's apartment. Brianna stops responding at 6 p.m., so I'm assuming very intoxicated. Or maybe she was already intoxicated talking to her mother. But then she was discovered saying that she fell in 17 stories. How many stories they say? Something crazy. And died at 1 a.m. Unless she kept drinking, I don't know. It is crazy.
Rodriguez joins us now. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you.
I know that you never thought you would be in this situation. As a mother, my heart goes out to you. So we all apologize, and we're so sorry for what you're going through. But tell us what you know. What happened that day?
My daughter attended the tailgate. She left happily. She had just come home from College Station. We were expecting her around this time next week to stay for a month and a half. She left in the early hours of Friday around 8:30 a.m., arrived in Austin with her friends. She told me she had gotten there. She had shown me her outfit. She FaceTimed me. It was a rule. She was not allowed to put her phone on Do Not Disturb or even ever change her location. So when she stopped responding to my calls, which was around 6 p.m., that I noticed that her phone was on Do Not Disturb, I found it very skeptical. Brianna would never do that. And so I just felt, I said, okay, maybe she's at the tailgate party. Her boyfriend didn't go with her. They're having issues. That's ultimately what I thought. But at the point of it being 11 p.m. And her not responding, her phone still pinging in the same area, but now in the woods, that's when I grew more speculation that was not right. I called Austin PD. I asked them to go to the scene of the tailgate party, but they told me that since it wasn't 24 hours that she had been missing, they couldn't go. They couldn't even do like a welfare check, nothing. And so they said, you have to wait a couple of more hours. And if she doesn't turn up by the morning, then call again. She's probably intoxicated somewhere, asleep. She'll call you in the morning. I did that, but I was still, waking up, tossing and turning, checking her location. And when I woke up in the morning and it still showed there that it was at the complex center at Rugsby Complex Center, that's when I knew that something wasn't right. I had to prompt Austin PD to do a search, to go and search for my daughter, because, as any mother, like, where's my daughter? How come she hasn't called me? Mm-hmm. That was never the case, ever.
Now, there's a lot of things I can understand why she's worried about. But if she's overly intoxicated and had to be kicked out of the game, at least that's what they're reporting, I don't know if I can see it crazy that she would put her phone on Do Not Disturb, but I can understand how she has a lot of questions. Let's keep going.
And so finally, I came across a female officer who, by the grace of God, she touched her heart, and she was a mother too. And I said, please, like, I haven't spoken to my daughter since 4 p.m. yesterday. Like, this is almost going to be like 24 hours. Can you please go and search for her phone? It was pinging off the same place, but now in the woods by a creek. We have all heard of the creek, murders and women and men turning up in creeks by, I don't know what it's called in Austin, but, there's been several murders that have been reported. And so at that point, she sent out a search team But even at that, you know, the officers were, I felt they were kind of like racist. They had asked me for the identification of my daughter, what race she was. When I said she was Hispanic, they kind of were like, oh, okay, well, can you send us the coordinates of the phone? Can you send us the picture of where the phone is pinging off? And I mean, I didn't have a problem with doing that, but that's what they get paid for. So, I mean, there's.
I'm confused on how she's saying she's racist, how she's saying they're racist. But I might be missing something. Let's keep going.
Just been so many inconsistencies with this case. A lot of new details are coming to light. They found my daughter's phone eventually in her friend's purse that was thrown in the woods. And shortly after 4 p.m., they called me back and they told me that my daughter's body had been found in a morgue.
A morgue?
So where did they find, who took the body to the morgue? Was she on the pavement below the apartment building and her purse and her phone were near a creek? And what are the people inside the apartment? I read that there were 15 people in the apartment with her.
Yeah.
What did they say? Did they see anything?
No one wanted to answer my phone calls. By this time, I had already spoken to her boyfriend. He had given me all the numbers to the people inside the apartment, and no one was answering. I went ahead and called Austin Police Department again, and they weren't giving me any answers. When I heard the news that my daughter was dead, I couldn't believe it.
So they're
not no.
I'm sorry, they're not investigating it as a homicide. Let me read the statement from the police. This is Austin Police. They say multiple detectives continue to interview witnesses, gather evidence, and work carefully through the details of this incident. At this stage in the investigation, the facts obtained do not indicate that this is a homicide. This case continues to be treated strictly as a death investigation, and there's no evidence to suggest or support any suspicious or criminal circumstances surrounding Miss Aguilera's passing. The cause of death will be determined by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office. I know they're waiting on toxicology reports. They're saying it was either accidental death or it was a suicide, but you say your daughter was not suicidal.
No, she was not. And even...
But the phone, see, okay, so the phone was found in the wooded area inside a friend's purse. That's very suspicious. We got to wait for the medical exam. Let's keep going.
Her father and I actually had to travel up to Austin to talk to the investigator, and we actually demanded to be switched detective because he was just very rude, still super rude. I was planning my daughter's funeral today, and he was like, so do you want to see like where your daughter fell from? And we had been asking that when we were in Austin yesterday or Monday. I just thought it was very rude. You know, he hasn't taken this investigation seriously. Everyone vacated the apartment. The person living at the apartment left. I am a mother of a college student who, she was in college, and it's so hard to get out of a lease. You can't just leave.
Okay.
You know, and so I said she was not suicidal. We looked at the rail.
Yeah. Well,
my
Stephanie,
daughter's not that tall.
Yeah, a mother knows. A mother knows when their child is, is suicidal or having depression issues. And you say that wasn't the case here. We're so sorry for your loss. Hopefully someone will see this interview and come forward, because these college games.
It's a crazy situation. I can understand, but a lot of parents, even if they are suicidal, some won't know, some will know. But there's a lot of inconsistencies. We just got to wait for the medical examiner to come back. And then why is the phone in a wooded area in another friend's purse? It's a lot of weird things going on, y'all. Let's get over into this next video, see if they give us any more detail.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor and former NYPD inspector, as well as attorney.
Thank you. You too.
Let's bring in Paul Morrow. Paul, it's a lot of stuff that's fluid. Typically, we had the mother on earlier this morning. A lot of the things that she brought up is typical police officer procedure, but when you're a grieving mother, you don't know any of that, you don't hear any of that.
That's right. All you're thinking about is your family member. So let's tease out some of this. First of all, she has hit her majority. She's 19. She's an adult, right? Unless you have indicia of foul play, unless you have some really suspicious circumstances that indicate that the person as an adult is a danger to themselves or others. It's generally not carried as a missing person. This changed when the body was found. There are, however, some questions here, and you and I were talking about them offline. The main one that jumped out at me, and the fact pattern that we know, is that her phone was found in a friend's purse in the woods at a distance from where the body was found. Now, you have to say to yourself, what is the fact pattern that led to that?
Right.
There's a lot of interviews that have to be conducted here. You notice that the police are leaning very heavily on the ME report. They're saying, let's wait for the cause of death. They're likely going to want to see the toxicology before they make any big statements here. That can take a couple of weeks.
I'm about to just say the toxicology, just like what we saw with David's case or Celeste's case. It takes weeks.
Depending, because you have to test for various things, and some of them take longer. It may be a little while before the real facts emerge here. One thing I would say, though, is, it was a very cautious statement that the police put out. There was that series of deaths in Lady Bird Lake down there in Austin.
The mom talked about that.
She talked about that, and that's a patina that lays over this thing. And to be frank, that was never wonderfully handled by the Austin Police Department. I'm just going to be frank. I say that as a cop. I know what it's like on the police side of things, but I actually spoke to that agency, and their answer was essentially, we put out a statement, nothing to see here. They needed to do, I think, better in that one. And I think that in this one, to say now, we don't see a homicide, but we're waiting to see, I would have softened that, because we don't know what's going to come back from the ME unless they have some fact here, maybe video or something that they can really lean on. I think at this point you have to say, let's wait and see.
Copy that. I want to play this because this has become a big story, because it talks about the crime that's happening in a place that you use the police, and that's New York City. This is a student recounting the assault that took place.
But that's it for the Texas A&M stuff. We're going to get over into this New York City stuff here in a second. But it's like the officer said, I can understand that the mother wants answers. They definitely don't sound like they're handling it well. At least that's my opinion. But it's understandable that she wants answers. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to wait for the medical examiner. If the police are saying that they don't have any evidence of foul play, we don't know how good their investigation was, but that's what they're saying. The medical examiner is going to give the final say. I never liked how, because she sounds like she's not in the loop with any of this. And it seems like that's a running theme with, especially with parents dealing with their children. It seems like the parents are at least not being caught up with the investigation, or it could be they just don't get it in the time that they want. So, but it's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know how you feel about it. But we're gonna have to pivot. We're gonna pivot over into New York. So like that, like the last video ended with, we got the New York University student was attacked, and we got more video showing the attack, and that person was arrested. So let's get over into that video, and those couple videos I got. Let's see what it's talking about. It's a crazy situation. We just got to review the world together, y'all. We just have to review the world together. Let's get into it.
And a shocking random attack in New York City. Surveillance video shows a student walking to class on Monday morning at NYU, and then you see somebody creep up from behind and hit her, and then pull her by the hair to the ground. Alexis McAdams is live in New York's Greenwich Village with more. Hi, Alexis. Good morning.
Dana, good morning. Well, we walk around New York City all the time, and you got to keep your head on a swivel. In this case, the girl had no idea it was coming. The guy was watching her, according to police, and it happened right here on this sidewalk behind me. Now we're learning he has quite the rap sheet. We're talking 16 times and counting here, as he's really been racking them up. This is James Rizzo on your screen. He was charged with persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. The 45-year-old man, who a police source tells me is homeless, has a history of committing sex crimes, but hey, he was right back out on the street in New York City. The 45-year-old was just released from jail.
They love putting criminals back on the street. They love doing it. But let's keep going.
Back in September after serving time for a similar charge. So now police say he attacked a 20-year-old NYU student as she was walking to class on Monday morning. She had her backpack, she had her headphones, she thought she was just going to make it to class safely, but her campus is New York City, so you never know what's going to happen. Amelia Lewis says the guy ran up behind her, he slapped her, he pulled her hair, and he knocked her right to the ground. Lewis shared her story as a warning to other students. Listen.
I am a student at NYU. I should not be scared to be walking the street to go to my 9:30 a.m. class. These people are disgusting and they should not be able to be walking around the street freely, targeting girls and doing this. This just shows that you really need to reflect on who you're voting for and supporting right now, because New York needs help and we're just not getting the help we need.
NYU says it's deeply disturbed by this attack that was caught on camera and went viral online. It's offering support to this student. It comes as investigators tell me Rizzo could be linked to other similar attacks just like this in the area. So to be continued. Also, just weeks ago, if you remember this, it's hard to forget these New York Post front pages, Dana. It says Washington Square Park. It was after a huge bust by the DEA there. The New York Post calling the once clean park Washington Square Park instead of Washington Square Park because of that DEA bust. Back out here live, we can tell you that was just one of the issues that happens in this area. It's a nice area, Greenwich Village, right near the NYU campus, but they've got the drug problem, they've got the homeless problem. So students say, give us more security. We pay a lot to go here. Dana.
We certainly do. Thank you, Alexis.
That's a crazy situation. What's running through his head? He's a homeless, crazy man. He obviously has serious problems, but he gets convicted and he gets put back on the streets after he serves his time. And then he goes back and does the same thing.
When the President of the United States sets up and tweets 150.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over into this next video.
We begin tonight with those new details in the attack that went viral. The man charged with attacking an NYU student on the way to class now facing new charges. Cops say James Rizzo also shoved another woman on Thanksgiving and burglarized several apartments.
The charges added now to Rizzo's already very long rap sheet, one that includes 16 prior arrests, 4 sexual assault charges, and even an attempted murder charge. Tonight, his criminal history is raising questions about why he was on the streets in the first place.
Eyewitness News anchor Michelle Charlesworth live in the Village with more. Michelle?
Well, the more we learn, the scarier it sounds, doesn't it? NYU students tell me they're absolutely shocked to learn that police say this suspect was living in NYU housing, NYU apartments where faculty and students live. But let's start with the surveillance video. Absolutely vital to actually see the crime occur and to see the Good Samaritan step in. But NYU students say they are shocked that he, according to police, was a squatter in NYU housing here on West 3rd Street. And they're frankly disappointed that they did not get a security alert from their school. By now, most NYU students say they've seen the student attacked on surveillance camera, but not NYU senior Janie Cooper.
Didn't even know about it. That's terrifying.
And now she knows police say that he was living in NYU housing, in her building. And he was living in your building?
Yikes.
Other students know 20-year-old Amelia Lewis posted in tears that a man slapped her from behind, pushed her to the ground, and pulled her hair. Jennifer found out from a friend who goes to a different school.
She was like, oh my God, like, did you see it? I was like, no, I didn't. I find it kind of weird because NYU hasn't really sent out an email about it.
And what about news from police that the man was a squatter in NYU housing?
Oh my God, I did not know that.
And had apparently...
Hold on. How does a university let a squatter stay in the apartments? Maybe it's because I live in the South, so we don't have the squat. You can't. It's not that easy to be considered a squatter. You got to stay a crazy amount of time. But I know New York has those weird laws where it's like maybe 30 days that they can claim squatters' rights. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And he had different sexual charges.
According to police, broken into 4 other apartments to take things to live in the other apartment where he was squatting.
That is crazy. I did not know that. I literally dorm right on that street, and I walk that street every single day.
45-year-old level 2 convicted sex offender James Rizzo was arrested by police for the attack that happened Monday morning. The victim had been walking to class around 9:30 at Waverly and Broadway. Police tell us Rizzo was let out of prison on parole in September and that he has 16 prior arrests.
I just felt really bad for her because, of course, she was crying and whatnot in the video.
And now to find out that he was living as a squatter, apparently, according to police, in NYU housing?
Yeah, I mean, that's just extremely shocking to me.
One of the worst things about this case is the video, but also one of the best things is that it exists.
What made you think to go to the store to say, do you have video of this?
I mean, right when I got Amelia's text, I was in class and I got a horrible sinking gut feeling because this has also happened to me.
So that is a friend, apparently, of the victim, and she also had been a victim in a completely separate case and knew that surveillance video was a key piece of evidence. So the fact that she went and got that and then it went viral and the victim talked about it is a very big part of all of this. I do want to tell you that the suspect is expected to be in night court tonight, arraigned on all of this, and we will have that for you later on this evening on West 3rd Street in West Village. Michelle Charlesworth, Channel 7.
That is a crazy situation. Now let me see real quickly. See if we can find most recent information about it. Let's see. Let's see, just go to a quick article real quickly. So this part, suspect was on parole after a sex abuse sentence. Police arrested 45-year-old in the attack and charged him with persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. According to the New York State Department of Correction, Rizzo, who police sources say is homeless, has 16 prior arrests and was out on parole after serving time for sex abuse. So hold on. So was he a sex offender on the sex offender registry and squatting in university housing? So police say that he is facing charges stemming from a string of 4 residential burglaries in Manhattan in the early morning hours on Tuesday, as well as 2 additional unrelated attacks on women. The alleged elbowing in the head of a 69-year-old Fifth Avenue on Thanksgiving, and a random punching of a 59-year-old woman on Mercer Street in December 2023. He is expected to be arraigned in Manhattan court on Wednesday night, so tonight. That is crazy. Goes to show you, y'all gotta keep your head on. You gotta watch out for your surroundings. But some things like this you would never expect. You would never accept that the university is aware of someone like this squatting on campus. And I would hope that they might not be aware. The police say that he was squatting on campus. Maybe I would hope the university was not aware of this. That sounds much better that the university is not aware that he was staying on campus. That's probably what they're going to claim. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all, but we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. We're going to pivot over into the next subject. I wasn't expecting this. So we got teen girls getting into joyriding and shooting at the police. Yes, I said it right. Teen girls joyriding and shooting at the police. We got a few videos to look at, so let's get over into it and see what we can learn. They're getting younger and younger, and it seems like more and more they don't have home training. Let's get over into it.
The search for two suspects in Seattle continues after police say they were shot at. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Esteban. This after officers already arrested 4 teens who they say shot at officers while fleeing in a stolen car. All of this unfolded last night. This was the scene afterwards, just after about 9 o'clock, stretching from North Seattle all the way to Tukwila. Police confirm no officers injured here. KOMO's Claire Weber heard from a woman who says she was caught in the crossfire.
A stolen SUV carrying several teens went from North Seattle to Tukwila, all while reportedly fleeing from police and shooting at officers.
One of our police officers was shot at last night, so we will do everything in our legal power and authority to find these individuals and bring them into custody.
Seattle police say the suspect sped away from 2 attempted traffic stops, the first on Aurora Avenue North around 9 p.m., then a second in South Seattle. When community response and patrol officers started following them on I-5, police say a suspect began shooting at an officer.
It's unclear at this point whether they believed it was a vehicle following them or whether they believed it was a police vehicle.
Oksana Matsagora says she got caught in the crossfire while also driving south.
And this is when I start screaming that they were shooting me.
Matsagora claims she heard 4 or 5 gunshots in a matter of seconds, one striking her windshield seen here. The shooting prompted a chase, with Seattle police eventually stopping the SUV in Tukwila. Officers took 4 teens, 3 girls and a boy, into custody and recovered 2 guns from the scene.
I will say there's an alarming number of violent crimes, including robberies, shootings, carjackings amongst teens in Seattle as well as King County.
2 other males ran from the stolen car, their ages still unknown. Matsagora says she feared for her life during the shooting, and it all still feels surreal.
Okay, so it's not all teen girls, but 3 girls and 3 boys, it sounds like. Absolutely crazy.
Start to press the brake. I put my head down and I was just waiting for shooting to stop.
In Seattle, Claire Weber, KOMO News.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over into this next video. Hold on, let me change this real quickly. Let's go over into this next video and see what else we can find out.
Good evening, I'm Frankie Thompson. We begin with the arrest of several teenagers accused of shooting at Seattle police this weekend. Police forcefully stopped the stolen car they were driving and handcuffed 4 of them, but at least 2 more are still on the run tonight. Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling went to SeaTac to talk with neighbors. She has details on the manhunt and the arrest in this case.
The teens ran from the vehicle after it was stopped near the intersection behind me. Neighbors tell me that the search at one point was intensely focused in the wooded area just beyond that pedestrian walkway sign. Home security video shows police searching for as many as 6 young suspects in the neighborhoods near 188th and Military Road.
We saw some police cars in the neighborhood, like 5 or 6 of them.
After seeing so many officers, Paul Posse went to get his nephew, who was playing in the yard.
As soon as I stepped outside, one of the police officers got on the intercom and said, "There's an armed intruder on the loose. Get in the house." And I grabbed my nephew and went inside the house.
Security video shows officers using searchlights in the area to try to find the teens.
It's a good spot to hide for intruders on the loose, criminals.
Before police said the teens were stopped here, the first signs of trouble were in North Seattle. Seattle police say it was here on Aurora Avenue North that they first spotted the SUV full of teens driving erratically and fast. They say they tried to follow them but gave up after they got on I-5. Then they caught up with them later in South Seattle. As they traveled south on I-5, someone fired several rounds at a community response group officer in a plain car.
I wonder if I'm assuming it's one of the boys. At least that's what I would like to think. Well, see, girls just as bad as boys nowadays, but let's keep going.
They weren't injured, but a random vehicle was hit, leaving bullet fragments in a person's lap. Near SeaTac City Hall, police finally stopped the SUV with a pit maneuver, where police say the 6 jumped out and made a run for it.
That's really messed up how they
shooting at officers of the law.
Pierre Wade didn't want his face on camera, but said he saw police out here Saturday and was shocked at the allegations.
Especially kids. Kids are shooting at adults. Like, that is crazy. I can't believe that.
Officers say 3 teen girls ages 15 to 17 and a 16-year-old boy were caught. They also found a handgun near the SUV and a second gun with a boy who also had a felony warrant for robbery. The teens were booked for assault, possession of a stolen vehicle and a firearm, and eluding police. Police say they're also investigating a man who showed up at Valley Medical Center in Renton after being shot.
Absolutely crazy. But let's get over into this next video for this situation. Seems like the girls, the parents, or not the girls, but the parents are arguing for a release of the teen girls. And they're saying,
A group of teens faced a judge today after police say they shot at officers and narrowly missed an innocent bystander during a high-speed chase. Police arrested 4 teens, but are looking for at least 2 others. KOMO's Lynn Ann Wynn live this evening from juvenile court in Seattle, where the teens were arrested, had their first appearance in court this afternoon. Lynn Ann?
Well, Preston, we know at least 2 of those teens arrested have been arrested for other crimes of 4, and all 4 are now facing possible charges after police found them in a stolen SUV with multiple guns.
It feels surreal. It feels like it didn't happen. And I'm just starting to realize that I was in a big danger.
Oksana Matsagora is still getting over the shock of bullets just barely missing her as she was driving, ducking down as she was caught in the gunfire as teens shot at Seattle police officers Saturday night.
And I didn't know why they tried to shoot. So I was thinking, like, are they trying to shoot until they kill me? Because they will keep firing shots.
Seattle police were patrolling in North Seattle when they noticed an SUV driving erratically and rushing away from officers. SPD later caught up with the stolen SUV in South Seattle, following it onto I-5 when the shooting started.
Basically, the panic kicked in when I left the car, and I started running towards the cars, and the guy came out and he just introduced himself, showed his badge, and he was like, "We're so sorry, they were shooting us, they were not shooting you."
Officers were able to stop the SUV with a pit maneuver, arresting 4 teens while at least 2 others got away. Officers also found 2 guns near the vehicle and on one of the teens. The 4 arrested appeared in juvenile court, and prosecutors say 2 of them have a prior criminal record.
We know that one of those 2 who was held in secure detention, there was a warrant that King County prosecutors had previously made a motion for in a custodial assault case. And so that was active at the time of the most recent arrest, from our understanding.
Attorneys for some of the teens argued.
Okay, so that's a big deal. So they said 2 of them had previous charges. So 2 of them, there was the people who were caught with 3 girls and 1 boy. So 1 boy, we already know he was one of them. And then one of the girls also had charges. So it was just part of that life in general. Let's keep going.
They didn't know the SUV was stolen and couldn't get out of the vehicle during the chase and shooting. Some of their family members were here in court asking for their teens to be released from custody.
Her coming home, this would never happen. I promise that. This would never, ever happen. She never been in any other trouble. She doesn't have a record or anything.
That we know of. She's never been in trouble that we know of. But it could be the case where she was hanging out with the wrong crowd and caught up. But you got to understand what type of crowd you're hanging with. At least I think I knew what type of crowd was the right crowd and which crowd would do some crazy stuff. But people might be different, or it might be just a different time. Let's keep going.
Now, 2 of those teens with priors on their record have been ordered to remain in secure detention, while 2 others were allowed back home onto electronic home monitoring. Seattle police have also told us that a gunshot victim later showed up at the hospital after this incident in Renton, but they have not said how or if that person might be involved in this investigation. Preston.
Lennon, I'm curious, what can you tell us about the teen's prior criminal record?
Can't say anything.
So we know that a 16-year-old boy who was arrested does have an active felony warrant for robbery, and King County prosecutors also told us that he has an ongoing case for assault while in custody, while one of the teen girls who was arrested does have a prior for robbery out of another county. We'll send it back to you.
Absolutely crazy. Now, here's the question. Was it Did they truly know that they were hanging out with the bad crowd, or were they just in the wrong place, wrong time? I don't know what. But at the end of the day, you got to face the consequences. You have to face the consequences. It is crazy. It's driving a stolen car, shooting at the police. But you got some people, some of the teens, two of the teen girls claiming that, hey, we didn't even know it was stolen. There's nothing on our record. At least that's what the parents are saying. What are your thoughts, y'all? What are your thoughts on that whole situation? Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. Let's pivot over into the last thing we're going to talk about today. The last thing, looks like the suspect is in custody for a triple shooting. And this involved the shooting of a deadly shooting of a 19-year-old basketball student. So let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation. Got 3 videos to look at. So let's jump over into it and see what we can find out.
On Long Island, a beloved 19-year-old college basketball player was gunned down during a triple shooting in Hempstead. Amira McLeod was a guard on the Monroe University Express team. Last night, she and 2 20-year-old men were found shot near Willow and Kennedy Avenues. The men are recovering at the hospital, but McLeod was declared dead at the scene. Monroe University released a statement saying the school community is devastated and grief counseling is available.
Let's get over into this next video to just find out more information about it. This video got no talking. Let's go over into the last one where they show the suspect in custody.
An 18-year-old man is in custody in connection to a shooting that left a beloved college basketball player dead. Amira McLeod was killed and 2 other young men were injured in Hempstead last month. And a short while ago, Nassau officials held a news conference about the arrest. Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore was at that news conference, and she joins us now from Mineola with the latest developments. Crystal.
Good afternoon, Joe. Well, police have identified the killer as 18-year-old Jacob McMillan from Baldwin. He's being charged with murder, attempted murder, and criminal possession of a weapon. Now, authorities say that Amira McLeod, who was from Queens, was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time when McMillan opened fire at a house party, killing her and wounding 2 other people. Now, our cameras were rolling when detectives walked McMillan out of the Nassau County Police Department this morning. He had nothing to say as he got into the police vehicle. Now, he is accused of killing 19-year-old McLeod outside a home on Willow Avenue near Kennedy Avenue in Hempstead. It happened on November 22nd around 11 o'clock in the evening. Medics pronounced McLeod dead at the scene. 2 20-year-old men were taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. Now, all of this taking place as a house party was going on inside the home. Investigators saying that the host of the party, a student at Nassau Community College, got into an argument with the suspect before shots rang out.
The suspect approaches a party while our victim, Amira McLeod, is standing nearby the corner. There's an altercation that takes place between our party host that's located at that house and our suspect. The suspect backs away from a group of people and begins to shoot a handgun. 3 shots are fired in total. As far as the investigation is concerned, we have reason to believe this individual arrived with a group of friends to this party. It was a social media invite.
But 18-year-old, let's stop and pause and back it up for a second. 18-year-old threw away his life. It's getting more and more common every single day. At least it's not a good thing, but what is the problem? What can be done? Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going.
Have reason to believe this individual arrived with a group of friends to this party. It was a social media invite.
Now, details on what sparked the argument are unclear at this time. Investigators say there was no known relationship between McMillan and McLeod. We know that McMillan is expected to be arraigned later this afternoon. Police say he does have a criminal past. More on that and the life of McLeod coming up on later editions of Eyewitness News. For now,
absolutely crazy. Now, it's always something. It's always something. Let's get over into an article. But he's 18 years old, threw away his life, and it was all because of an argument on the street. People don't know how to handle their words. People don't always jumping to getting into fights. And instead of fighting with their hands, they're going to fight with a gun. But let me look. Let's get over into it. So just a quick. So let's get over into this. Just a little quick information. So the suspect, Jacob McMullen, has been arrested and charged with the murder of 19-year-old Moore University basketball player. The shooting also injured two others at a house party in Homestead, like we know, on November 22nd, 2025. So the 19-year-old sophomore was a sophomore guard for the Monroe University basketball team. So the suspect was 18. He is charged with second-degree murder and other related counts, including criminal possession of a weapon. So let's see the incident. So the victim and two Nassau Community College football players who were injured but have been since released from the hospital were leaving a house party when a group of uninvited teens, including McMullen, whoever his name is, tried to enter and shots were fired. So what, they bumped into each other, and then I guess they didn't want the disrespect. So they said instead of fighting, I guess the people were bigger. It was like, yeah, we're just going to shoot. So he was arraigned today, Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and is in police custody, held without bail. Authority states that these two, the victim and the suspect, did not know each other. So just a random encounter on the street, coming to a house party, most likely bumped into each other, got into some kind of argument, but like, let me through. Or maybe you don't know what could have happened. There's a number of things that could have happened to cause an argument happen between these two groups of people. One group of people didn't want to handle things with their words, but we don't know what exactly was going on. But at the end of the day, someone picked up a gun instead of using their words, or at least using their fist, which is not good. I would never advocate for violence, but I would prefer that than someone pulling up a gun. But they ended up killing one person, a 19-year-old, prime of her life, basketball player, and shooting two football players. And then the other group of people, I'm assuming, ran, and he is charged. 18 years old, threw away his life. Probably in prison for the rest of his life, or at least he deserves to be. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all. We got to keep our head on the swivel, and you got to be prepared, because some people have a short trigger, have a short fuse. Some people aren't right in the head, and they will go to violence and go into the worst place with the littlest inconvenience. You got to be careful. You got to be careful out there. But at least he is caught, and he is held without bail. That's what I like to see, held without bail. But that is it for the show today, y'all. That is it for. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But remember, y'all, this is AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer. Like always, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. At the end of the day, we just got to review the world together. We just have to review the world together. Thank you now. But you already know these videos will be broken down. But let's get over into it. You already know. Got to play that outro. Peace.